Oh, there we go. That worked. Hello, everybody. How are we all? Are we still sane? How's everybody coping? I've just sent out a few invites, so hopefully somebody will come along and talk to me. Yeah, how are we all doing? If you're in the UK, you'll know we're well and truly on lockdown, so we're going a little bit mad. So I needed a social fix. I thought I'd come on and see what's going on. Hopefully, like I say, we'll get somebody in to have a chat with me. Got a few people watching. Watcher is watching. Good to see you. It says always good to hear from you, Nick. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hi, Leanne. Wally, what's it? Welcome. I've got a very tickly cough. I get really bad dust allergies. So if I do cough, don't worry. I'm not coming down with the virus. Touch wood. I've been in the loft a lot recently sorting stock and I've had quite bad allergies from the dust. So that's what it is. Do not fear. Henry Hoover, yes. If you've not seen that video, I won't spoil it for you. I went on a Henry Hoover hunt. Might have found a couple in the loft. Hey, Derek, I'll drop you the link if you want to pop on. My girlfriend found a Henry Hoover at the side of the road, put out for the bin men, grabbed it for me to resell. Yeah, why not? I think it was you that was saying you can sell them not working for parts. A lot of Hoovers you can part out, actually. So yeah, I'm going to have fun. I'm not sure that'll be the first thing on my list of priorities to list, the Hoovers. I've still got a bunch of toys and games that I want to get on quick. And kids' books, I think, is a priority. But I will, now I've found them and got them, I will get those listed at some point whilst we're on lockdown. Let me just grab the invite and send it out to a few more people. So bear with me while I go into Facebook. So yeah, how is everyone? Is everyone coping? A friend of mine has got the virus, and he sent me a video message the other day. It's one of the guys I play cards with, and yeah, he was looking really rough. It's not good. Why is this not working? Send message. Ah, oh, not that. Jeez. Right, nearly there. Hold on. This is riveting viewing, I'm aware. Right, let me pop back here. There we go. Let's see who else has popped in. Not streaming, question mark. I am streaming. Yep. She got me 2 shelving units for my storage as well. What, from the side of the road? Bargain. 3 is the magic number, right? Hey, Drew. I'd send you the link. I'm not sure I've got you as a friend on Facebook, though. We'll have to sort that out. Maybe the Henrys have taken over the Tat Cave and killed him. Oh, was this before I went live? Oh, it's just jumped. Richard Hale, lockdown is doing my head in now, starting to get fed up already. Well, yeah, it's actually for us, for Andrea and I, we work from home together and it's kind of our normal situation. But as soon as your liberty is taken away and your ability to go out and the option to go out and do things is taken away, you instantly want to do it, right? I want to go and sit in a pub garden and have a beer. I want to go shopping and not feel like, you know, I'm breaking the law. So yeah, it's a very, very strange time, and I think we're all coming to terms with it. But yeah, it's really tough. I've said before recently, I've got family members who are nurses. A young niece of ours, Emma, is working in central London. She's dealing head on with the virus sufferers, and it's not pretty. So she is dealing with it on a daily basis. So I feel for her and the thousands of other nurses and doctors that are putting themselves on the line. We've got it easy compared to a lot. Hey, Mel. I can send you the link if you want to pop in and say hi. Savvy Mum, I'm grateful for every single YouTube video right now from anyone. Good. Well, if we can help entertain people, keep people sane, that's the whole point, really. Let me just dip on. Derek says might come on later. That's cool. I think Tom is trying to join. Let's see if I can send it out to Mel while I'm in Facebook. Is that the right? I'm concerned it's not the right, but that's the right person, right? All right, I've dropped you the link, Mel, if you're around. Don't worry if you're not able to chat. Sweat Mopper is getting used to the isolation. Yeah, I mean, we're managing to get out at least once a day. Well, once a day max, actually, because that's what the recommendation is. We're taking a couple of mile walk just to get fresh air, get a little bit of exercise. So that's myself and Andrea and our daughter. We're managing to get out and do that. We've managed to get a supermarket delivery slot, which wasn't easy. So we're getting some supplies delivered from the supermarket. I think that's coming next week at some point. We are ticking along with our business. Actually, sales jumped the last couple of days. We've had a couple of cracking days, and I've managed to find the post box which takes parcel size. It's like got a big pull down entrance and you can drop parcels into it. So I'm going to start using that, so I don't even have to go to the post office and risk interaction in that way. Although last time I went to our post office, they have Perspex counter, which is only about that height. What they've done is they put up a massive, almost like a giant bubble of plastic around them. So they're on one side of a screen and customers on the other. And they're allowing 2 people in the post office at a time. But hopefully I should be able to avoid going there completely now. And I'll just be able to go to this post box, which is about 2-minute drive from the house, drop parcels and come home. I won't have to interact with anybody at all. So hopefully that'll work out. Yes, it is, Pete. I've dropped you the link if you wanted to pop on. I think, did I drop you the link? I did, didn't I? No, I didn't. I thought I did. I didn't press send. I'll send you the link now. No lockdown in Canada yet. Okay. Yeah, similar story. I saw Rod chatting about it, and I spoke to him last night, actually. They're not on lockdown yet. I think the rate of infections is behind where we are here in Europe. Hi, Lemon Puff Gaming. Hi, Antoinette. Hope you're well. There he is.
Hi, Nick.
Hey.
Am I coming through clear, loud and clear?
How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, not so.
Yeah. I thought I'd sent you the link. It was sat there without having pressed go, so
easily done. I haven't really done much eBay. I know a lot of people have been shutting down their shops, and some people have been working even harder on their shops. And I did my 5 live normal thing on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, up to today, I haven't listed a thing, although things have been selling. And
is that just because you're kind of in a weird headspace and things are out of the ordinary?
In a weird headspace and getting into a routine with the kids, and even though it's not that different for me because I'm at home all the time, it's adjusting to everything else that's going on and thinking a little bit about. All I did on my shop was my Hermes stuff I zeroed quantitied it, but I'm kind of thinking I didn't really need to do that. That was probably about sort of 5 to 10% of my store, just so I wouldn't have to
Hermes are still, well, it depends what your local shop is doing. I've heard some local Hermes are stopping taking anything that's non-essential, but how do they know what's non-essential?
Well, they were open, so because I had one that I had to go down and drop in on.
I'm just putting my
early
shoes on,
this
by the
week.
way. If you're wondering what on earth I'm doing, I've come out of the bath. I still don't have my shoes on. That's all I'm doing.
But yeah, it really has been. I mean, I've kind of thought, well, it's a good opportunity. I've been sorting through Lego, which has been hanging around for about 2 years, and and it's a good opportunity to do that. It's tidying up and fixing things while I'm kind of thinking about, am I actually going to carry on? I mean, first thing I thought about was sourcing. Oh God, how am I going to source? And that very quickly went from a consideration to not being a consideration at all, because there just wasn't going to happen. And I didn't want it to happen. Once it got to, I think it was like Thursday, Friday last week, it changed from, I was thinking about it to, it was out the window.
I think for everyone, if the severity of it hadn't caught up with people by then, it was like, oh, okay.
It really, it seems like, it's only a week ago, it's just over a week ago that my kids were at school. We sent them to school until Thursday last week, which seems mad, because that seems like years ago. It's like ages ago. It's very strange.
And this is why we're seeing that the reported infections shoot up, because people were wandering around freely carrying it, not unbeknownst to them, because a lot of times you don't show symptoms for like a week, 10 days, whatever.
Yeah.
And you could pass it on to hundreds of people, which is what happened. Hence, people are coming out with it now. And as I said before you popped on, a friend of mine has sent me a video message, and he's in such a bad way. He's at home, but he's struggling to breathe. He was finding talking really difficult.
It must be frightening.
It was frightening.
I know you get asthma and I get asthma, and I'm kind of like wary about what might happen. Yeah. But it doesn't frighten me having that shortness of breath. Obviously, if it was really bad effects, but I can't imagine being someone who's always been able to breathe and then starting to struggle. That would be frightening. And all I did, I mean, there were quite a lot of asthmatics I know, and about 2 weeks ago, I started managing my asthma really well. Just making sure that and a lot of people are saying try and keep fit and healthy. I think the government are saying, just that's all you can do. Keep away from people. Obviously, do your social distancing, and do your best. Stay at home and do all that, but also keep healthy. It's that's what will help you fight the thing. But
we're managing to get out and take a mile or two walk every day, which as much for the sanity of it as anything, I think. I think mentally that's obviously we need to try and keep active and keep our hearts going, but I think that is as much to keep us sane, because there's something weird about being cooped up that messes with your head.
And I mean, I've been putting in a pond. Me and Liz have been putting in the pond in the garden. I haven't done so much digging in years, because I've been doing like eBay for about 3 years. And I've been doing Joe Wicks in the morning as well. We did that yesterday morning, and I couldn't do it this morning because like the tops of my legs are like turned to stone. I'm like,
the base of your back, if you're digging, it gets you around the back.
Oh, it really is, especially in a pond, because you're going down in the hole.
Yeah,
you're trying to pull all this soil out. But I'll definitely. And that's it. You wake up in the morning with aches, and you go, "Oh God, I hope this isn't it." You go, "No, it's because I was digging that pond yesterday." So.
Yeah. But, I just wanted to say, you mentioned Lego. Get it on quick. I've sold so much Lego. I sold a shed load last night that I just listed. I've sold another like 8 lots of Lego overnight.
It's that old thing of like I'm doing Lego Friends, which I know you've been doing, and I've got probably about like 15, 20 sets of it, all pretty much complete, but like there's just like the annoying odd bit missing. So you never know. I just think, well, I'm going to put the whole lot on. And I've gone through each one, and I know which bits are missing, and I don't know whether to include that in the listing.
Hold that thought. Right, this is Lego Friends. I think I mentioned it in the video. So
Yeah.
these are either sort of 80 to 95 to almost complete. There's 8 little sets in there. That's the biggest set. But it's only
I've
worth
probably got
10
about
euro.
double. I've probably got about double that. Similar, exactly the same.
Right, so most of these are small sets that if you sold it on its own, you might get a
About
fiver. They're
fiver.
not
Yeah,
worth it,
fiver.
right?
Yeah.
So that box full I listed last night, 60 quid, pushing it, sold instantly.
Really?
Right?
I'm going to get mine on. I could do 2 of those. And I was thinking 100 quid for the whole lot. But if I think if I do 2, you know, that'll be.
I think, yeah. Watch it, Tom.
He's frozen.
Does he know he's on?
Has he fallen asleep with his eyes open? Oh, there he is. He's back in the room.
Andrea's just popped in the office, said, super chat. Did you see the super chat?
Oh, there was.
Tom, are you with us, Tom? No. Are you winding me up?
I don't think he is.
He's going to wind up.
Someone's streaming a film in his house. Merry Death Dells.
We've got a super chat. Oh, and another one. Bear with me, guys. I'm notorious for not spotting them. Oh, yeah, here we go. Hold on. No, lost it again. Oh, geez. Where's it gone? Yeah, there we are. Merry Deathly Deals. Thank you so much. $4.99. We asthmatics are frightened of the prospect of less breathing. Well, absolutely. I mean, fellow asthmatics, we probably all had a few attacks in our life. Thankfully, it's very rare.
We've all got these at the ready.
Well, mine is triggered, and the usual trigger is cats.
Yeah.
And the last really bad one I had was when I stayed at my sister's, and she's got a cat, and I didn't have an inhaler, and I didn't sleep a wink because I couldn't breathe. And it's a frightening feeling. And to know that that's part of what happens if you get this seriously, having been there myself, it's a horrible thought. So yeah, stay safe. That's all I've got as well. This is about a quarter full. I can't get hold of any more.
Really?
Not right now. Well, it's gone everywhere. Have you tried getting hold of Penny?
Well, I did get a load before. I could possibly send you one if you're desperate, but I got a load. I put in a prescription about 2 weeks ago.
All right. Well, I mean, I should be fine, but yeah, if it gets desperate, I might give you. If you've got spare, only, of course.
But I mean, with asthma, all I would say is definitely do take it seriously. I used to be the kind of asthmatic who didn't really care about it, and I'd be taking like this 4 or 5 times a day, not thinking much of it. And it was my wife who really started managing my asthma really well. She said, take your preventer because that's what it's for. And I ended up putting my preventer by my toothbrush. So it was that routine thing is like I'd go to brush my teeth and go, I'll just take my Becatide first in the morning, then brush my teeth. And then same in the evening, go to brush my teeth. Oh, it's there. You know, it's right there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If you do take your Becatide, you won't. I went from taking this 4 or 5 times a day to I've gone a year without taking this.
Wow,
but it's only sort of triggers like pollen which will set it off. So I definitely.
Yeah, I only tend to use mine. Sorry, Mel. We'll say hi in a minute.
Just right.
Want to finish. Yeah, I only tend to use this if I get an attack, which, like I say, usually is from animal fur.
Yeah.
Or if it's really hot in the summer and in bed, it sometimes triggers an attack. But generally, I'm fine. But I got so out of the habit of using my brown one as a preventative. I don't even know where it is. It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's not twice, just once a day, you know, we'll just sort of like, you know.
Tom, can you hear us now?
Yeah, I could hear you. Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to move closer to the router.
But you're sitting on the router.
And hello, Mel. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're well. We're all in lockdown here. I know you're not quite at that point in Australia, are you?
No, not quite. But we're still pretty much self-isolating and just staying home and keeping our space and doing our own thing. I think. Yeah. If we don't have to go out, we're not going out.
Yeah. Do that for sure. I need to say, Daniel Moore, welcome, has super chatted £10, which is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Says, as I have Asperger's, for some weird reason, it doesn't seem to be bothering me, but I do think it was already here, as it had 6 weeks, maybe more, to get around the world. It's most, what does that say?
Potent when you're breathing.
Yeah. Well, like we were saying before, I think because there's a period of time when you perhaps are a carrier and you don't know, and you were still moving around freely, like we were saying only a week or two back. That's so it gets ahead of all of the measures that are put in. So yeah, and we're seeing the numbers spiraling now. It's quite frightening when you watch the news at the minute.
I think they say it doubles every 2 or 3 times, every 2 or 3 days, the numbers. So I think the numbers were 200 and something deaths today. So in 3 days' time, that is going to be sort of 400 or 500. And unless they can, I mean, it is going to go up. It's where it starts to flatten. And
well, everybody's looking to Italy and Spain because they're ahead of us.
Yeah.
And they've not seen the come down yet.
They've not seen the come down, but even though the numbers are high, they're consistently high, aren't they? No, Spain had a big increase today as well. But that's what you're looking for. Is kind of like,
I think they've had a decrease in reported cases. It's just difficult to find actual proper information on it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I wish they just
But I know what you mean about asthmatics.
Yeah.
What was that, Mel?
I just wish they would kind of lock us down sooner. I don't know. I just kind of feel like I wish, like, before it gets too out of control here, I just wish they would say, right, lock down for a few weeks. Let's just slow it right down as much as we can while we can before it gets to that point where then they have to put you in lockdown.
Yeah.
I think the strange thing is it's how seriously the public do take it. I think if last week when Boris started his kind of restrictions, if he'd have said, okay, you can't go out, you've got to stay 2 meters, if it was the restrictions that were in place now, people would have gone, you're joking. But day by day, it has been literally every single day that's gone past. It's got ramped and ramped and ramped. And people have followed the seriousness of it, through it. Because, I honestly think if he'd have done this straight away, it wouldn't have had the effects, and people would have completely ignored it, and he wouldn't have had them on their side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, it's so unprecedented, and I think it was always bound to happen that people would be like, oh yeah, it's just the government saying this and that, and people were like that. Only a matter of days ago, they were still chilling out in the park and exercising together and doing all that stuff. And did you see the stuff on the news where the police were moving people on from some of the commons in London? And
it's not
a holiday,
go
home.
Lockdown. Yeah,
and
people rushing to Snowdonia. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So then even still, I mean, like you see shots of particularly Birmingham where people are just milling around, buying stuff. Shops are staying open even though they shouldn't, and because of course, if you're the only shop on a high street and you've stayed open, you've got all of the trade. So people are like flaunting it in some of the big cities and staying open when they shouldn't, and of course they're making big money.
How is Lorna getting on?
Yeah, I mean, my wife is NHS, so she's not frontline. She's in the community, so she doesn't have to deal with any of those patients. But inevitably, it will leak into the community, and she's been offered zero protective equipment. In fact, I've got protective equipment for her from my old woodworking days. So it's just comes to something where you have to buy your own masks and stuff. It's ridiculous. But no, there's no protective equipment offered or advice or anything. It's an absolute joke.
Wow. Can I just quickly read Social Tech? Thank you so much for that. Says, hi Nick, hope you're well, stay safe and keep up the good work. Also, I do try to get out daily for a walk, but it is very depressing. Stay safe. Yeah, but I think that's when we were saying to Pete before, we were saying, I think getting out and having the physical activity is a big way to keep the depression at bay if you struggle with that. And I know exactly what that's like. So, yeah, go out for a brisk, half hour, an hour's walk if you can. It really stimulates the mind. And
exercise does help, because even though I did that Joe Wicks like half hour, with the kids yesterday, and it absolutely killed me today, after I did it, I did get a bit of a sweat on. I was like, yeah, this is really good. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing to do, even though I hated it afterwards. So, no, you feel good. It wakes you up, and
this whole thing is a mental health crisis waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, people who suffer with anxiety, my wife included, are struggling so much to process this and to cope with the mental bombardment daily of what on earth we're supposed to be doing, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. And if you're not the sort of person that can process that easily, it's a nightmare. And I'm, trying to be rational and calm Andrea down and keep a level head on it. But it's difficult for so many people to process. And I know, Mel, you're, probably similar to my wife on that front. And how are you coping?
Well, I have anxiety disorder, and but I'm medicated for it. So I think that's keeping my levels kind of manageable, because I think if I wasn't medicated, I would be crazy. But I think the hardest thing for me is when you suffer from anxiety, but there's other people around you that don't take it as seriously, or like if my older kids, they kind of just think that I'm being over the top when I'm like, don't go out here. Like my oldest is 19, so she still wants to go over to the boyfriends, and she still wants to go and give her friend a birthday present, and I'm like, you've just got to stay inside as much as possible. And she keeps tagging me on Facebook on all these like joke things about it, almost like mum's overreacting and mum's crazy about it. But I think that's the hardest thing when you've got anxiety, when you're trying to deal with different levels and people don't kind of understand how much it does impact you.
Yeah. I think in a way, and it'd be interesting to know what you think, but I think people should be scared, and they should see those images from inside the hospitals and the people that are struggling to deal with it right now. Because I think I needed a wake-up call, and my mate messaging me and sharing a video call of how much he's struggling with it right now in his own home just woke me up to how scary this is.
I think as well for me, because of this reselling community, like I've got a lot of friends on Facebook and I follow a lot of people on Instagram, but I'm seeing a lot more posts than maybe what my family is from the UK and the US, and seeing how it's affecting you guys more than us. So that's probably building a little bit more anxiety in me, because I feel like we're only a few weeks behind, and then what I'm seeing from you guys is all going to come here, and I almost feel like I'm more prepared for it than maybe what a lot of other people are, just because of how much I'm seeing in my feeds from like you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
I do think that is something that's true, the shock value. But I think as long as it comes from not a sensationalist point of view, like I know that a lot of the media have been a bit guilty of, using very emotive language and trying to make a good story. So I think you've got to get a balance between actual facts and actual sort of, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I agree with that to an extent, but I think some people need shocking out of their like blasé approach to it.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's all about, and the government are saying this, it's about that protecting the NHS from being completely swamped, which would be a complete nightmare. And that's why people need to be serious about it. So when you first heard about the virus, obviously you think, okay, am I going to get it? What's the likelihood of me getting it? But again, very quickly, your understanding changes and develops. And I think the majority of people in this country now get it. They're staying in, not really for themselves. I don't feel like, I could get it. I could get it seriously, but really, I'm staying in to protect the NHS and make sure they're not swamped. And that's what everyone's doing. And that's the good thing about this. It is there is a real sense of kind of community, and the majority of the country working together to get through this. And I've never sensed anything like this. I mean, I suppose it is a bit of a, what our mum and dad or grandparents would call like the wartime spirit.
The wartime spirit, and it's a real thing. And it's kind of, that it takes something like this to bring people together. It's why does it need that? But it certainly has around here.
Going out and doing the clapping like on Thursday, amazing, absolutely amazing. Just a feeling.
My granddad said that. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have my granddad alive. He's 94, and he said the last time he saw anything like this was after the war, or during and after the war. So he's aggressively independent, and he still goes out for a walk and stuff like this. I keep telling him off. But yeah, I'm sitting in for people like that. You know, not for myself, not for my family necessarily. It's for people like that. So.
Yeah.
I just want to say a quick thank you to Reselling White Boy for the super chats, sending positive vibes. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I didn't want to come on and talk about the thing, but it's like you can't not talk about the thing right now.
It helps. It helps a lot of people. Some people won't want to hear it. They don't have to watch.
I know, exactly.
But it's there, and
it's hard to come on and just do something silly or whatever. But that's what the quiz channel's for. So we'll do that. We'll be doing those again. So.
As long as we're not sensationalist about it all, and it's just an honest conversation. That's all it is.
Exactly.
One thing I wanted to say was a lot of people are talking about how it will change things in the future after, it's all calmed down a little bit. How you feel it would change in the future? I mean, are people going to change their mannerisms of not shaking hands as much, or do things more remotely, work from home, or?
I hope some good things do come out of this. That people realise. I mean, one of the beautiful things about this is that there's no planes in the sky. There's no, not a lot of traffic. The amount of pollution has gone right down, and I think the world needed that, and it needs to sort of continue that. So, when we do get through this, hopefully we can say we don't need to fly everywhere. We can do more video links. You don't need to feel like you've got to be using all that transport, but I'm hoping it will change things in a positive way. I think after getting through this, however long it takes, if it's 3, 6, 12 months, we're going to need to take something positive from it, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I do think that the commercial machine will just grind back into full gear and plow on. That's what the economy is based on, isn't it? But yeah, I think people are learning a lot of things on a daily basis about this, and I still think that it's a serious thing, but it could be so much worse. And at least we're getting this. We're going to be a more prepared world for when something else comes along that could be way worse than this is, no matter how terrible this is. So.
And I think it's just going to show people as well how much they actually need to slow down in life, and maybe how much more minimal people can be with things as well. So I think those kind of things are good for some people to see, because we do get caught up in having to go out constantly through the day and not being able to just stay home and being busy constantly. So this is actually making some people, have to sit inside their house and just not be busy and not be so materialistic maybe, and go out and be buying things constantly, because I'm hoping that that's a bit of a positive as well.
I think so. I think it will change people in that way. I really hope it's going to make us appreciate what we have a bit more. Whether that will last long term, we'll all slip back into our old ways. But I'm appreciating the little things. Sitting in a beer garden and having a beer. Oh my God. Sitting around the poker table with mates. Yeah. We're managing to do that online.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's
not the same.
Because we're having to type in and take the mickey out of each other. And it's not the same. So, yeah, I miss that so much.
Because you did a weekly poker night with your friends, didn't you?
Sorry, say again?
You had a weekly poker night going with your friends?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for so long. Every Thursday, a group of us meet, and it's sometimes up to 20 of us. And, that's my big social outlet now, and you realize how important that is when you aren't allowed to do it. And despite setting it up on an online site, it's just nowhere near the same. It's rubbish. Despite me winning the other night on Thursday, I won, what was it, $85? So that was a productive 3 hours.
Was that a virtual $85, or was that
real? No, it was real. No, we all put our stake in, and
you just got to get it somehow now, or does it all get paid in to the central place.
I can take it off the site. Yeah, it's real money.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, we're all finding ways to keep in contact. We had another family chat today online. Caught up with a few. One of my nieces is heavily pregnant. She's due to have a baby shortly, and we don't know how that's going to pan out. None of us will be able to be there, almost certainly. Her mum won't be able to be there. My sister,
I've never talked to family so much, for years. It's like ringing my mum every day, and sometimes I put the phone down, she's ringing back saying, "Oh, I've forgotten to tell you this."
Yeah,
but,
I just want to read quickly. I forgot. I highlighted it and didn't read it. Pleasant Valley Picker says, I got into it yesterday with a guy at the post office. He came up behind me. I put my arm out and say, "Stay back 2 meters." I think there's a lot of that going on. It's
sort of a weird social dance at the moment. If you go for a walk down the pavement, you see someone coming and they cross the road. It's like your magnets who are repelling each other. It's just like, whoa, it's very strange. But
my post office actually has like sticky tape on the ground, like coloured tape marked out for 1.5 meters, I think it is, and it just says "stand here, stand here, stand here," and you're just not allowed to stand any closer to anyone.
Yeah, that's happening everywhere now. Chris has said my school donated all their protective equipment to the local hospital and are 3D printing masks as well.
Oh wow,
that's quite clever.
See, that's. I just worry that you see it a lot, that people like how to make your own mask, and the problem with masks is it lulls people into a false sense of security, that they think because they've got the mask on, because they've got the gloves on, they're protected, so they can take excessively more risks in doing stuff. So that's the only thing I would say about masks.
You've got to be careful. I mean, a lot of those masks you can get, they haven't got a seal on them. So, and if you use them more than one, there's single use, even if they're the flimsy ones, because as soon as they get damp, they're gonna. So they're not good. The only good one would be one with a real good seal around it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this sort of style one, Jimmy, like with the rubber eyes. Yeah.
That sounds like a right ding dong, Pleasant Valley, arguing about meters and feet in the shop. Blimey, that must be repeated around the world though, at the moment. People just losing their rag when they're out because they're so tense, and people are genuinely worried for their own safety. So,
I think the problem is this incubation period where you don't know if you potentially got it and then you were sick within a day or so. But then it's the whole being infectious for potentially a week beforehand. Yeah, I think that's the worry.
Yeah, we don't know if we're carriers right now. I don't know if I'm a carrier, and that's.
You could be a carrier with no symptoms.
Absolutely, you can even go through having it and barely show symptoms. I mean, we actually think that maybe it's gone through our little household already, because Ellen was quite sick and off school just before it really kicked off. In the UK, I had a week where I was getting headaches. I never get headaches, and I had a throat thing going on, and Andrea had issues. So we thought maybe we've had it. We have no idea.
That's the thing, you don't know, do you?
Yeah.
And that this 3.5 million tests that they've apparently ordered, but will obviously go out to NHS first. But they want to test them before, which is completely right, because, like they said, a bad test is worse than no test.
Worse, yeah, exactly. When I spoke to my sister, who's a nurse, they're hoping that's going to be rolled out shortly, so they'll all be tested and know.
Because the only certainty you've got, if you haven't got that, is someone who's had coronavirus and been tested, like definitely tested, and then recovered from it, and then you can kind of cross them off. So that test will be like a game changer, and really, for the NHS to be able to say they've got the green light and they can, they've had it and can go and help people. There's no risk there.
I've done this again. How long have you been there?
Because Spain had that, didn't they? They had a dodgy batch that they've got to send back to China.
I mean, this is it. These tests are coming from China. I mean, it's like, really, how much can you trust that?
Rod, you're in.
Pete, you'd know. I mean, I had that cough for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I do wonder if if we'd have had it. It's bizarre.
I did this the other day, Rod. I can only see 4 squares below, and the other one is tucked right down below. I couldn't see you. That's my excuse.
So I've been there a while. I was clean shaven when I came in.
I just want to quickly read Tony's comment. Hi guys, had my biggest 2 sales days ever this week. Heaps of Wii's, DVDs and games. Still going well in Australia. Thanks for a massive stockpile. Yeah, we've just had a cracking couple of days, mainly Lego. But car parts have picked up. I think people are doing home mechanics. You know, they might as well do a filter change while they're stuck. You know, that sort of thing is starting to pick up, which is bizarre and unexpected. But yeah, so if you can carry on, and if you think you're safe to carry on, eBay is actually picking up for a lot of people.
I'll have to get back on it. Like I said, I needed just a few days just to sort of get my head around the thing and the kids being at home. But I'm obviously not, I can't stop, so it will carry on. So I'm just, making sure that I'm going to be safe. And there's no rush for me, because we are in this situation for, well, at least 12 weeks, probably go beyond that. So, I'm not, and there's no point in me rushing anyway, because I can't get any new stock. So I'm kind of just going through bits that have been hanging around. I haven't got a huge death pile, probably maybe got about 100 things that I will sort out and list, and then it will just be a case of pushing the current 500 things I've got. Because I think a lot of people were worried, or at first were worried about, oh my God, where am I going to source? The sales is just going to go. But never forget the stock you have on already, and to push that. I
think you're right. The perfect time to end a load of listings and relist them and sell similar, tweak the titles, take that. Run a sale, whatever you want to do. Anyway, how are you, Rod? Good to see you. I was watching you while I was in the bath.
Have you not seen the thick of the sides?
We don't want to hear about.
Oh, you was actually in the bath. Well, what? Oh God!
Yeah, I like
right out of my head.
I popped the iPad up against a box of bath bombs, and I watched you.
I was going to say, what was you propping it up against?
Easy.
Steady.
I want to say hi to Zahir. Hope you're keeping well. He says, evening all, glad for the live whilst getting orders. So Zahir's still getting orders. He was saying actually in a recent live that the RC parts are picking up. So I think people are cooped up, and you just go back to your hobbies. You go back to that project that you had on the go. So there will be people picking up their RC cars and thinking, oh, I need a such and such, and there they go. Or they're buying Lego for their kids, or they're buying DVDs, as what you've seen a pick up in media. So opportunities are there if you can safely continue to resell.
And one thing that I've just sold quite a lot of this last week is kids' books.
Yeah.
I had quite a few. I had some bundles of 10-pack of kids' books, and I've noticed that selling, and the other packs that I've got online, they've all got watches on them, and I've sent some offers out this morning on those bundles. But I've got boxes of kids' books here that I just haven't got around to listing. So now I'm kind of like, oh, thank goodness I've got these in my death pile, because most of my death pile is clothes, and I do notice a pickup. I have, even this morning, I jumped on my little site and I had 9 DVDs ready to go out, and I don't normally sell that many DVDs. So I'm kind of thankful I've got all these kids' books sitting here that I can list over the next few weeks.
I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the next things I'm going to deal with. I think before I actually list the Henry Hoovers, I'm going to go through all the kids' books, because they're perfect. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I buy them all for 50 cents each, and they're easy to post, and if you can bundle them up, you can make quite some good money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we've got loads of kids' DVDs that are our own from when the kids were little, Postman Pat and stuff like that, and they're good to bundle, because separately not worth anything, but put 10 of them together, you probably get about 10-15 quid just to get rid of them, so well worth doing.
Yeah.
I cleared most of my media not that long ago. I had a big purge, and now it would be flying out, and I'd probably be able to charge more for it right now, potentially in bundles anyway, because that's what people want. I think a kids bundle right now, I think, is perfect, because parents are just going, the kids are doing my head in. I just want a load of DVDs they haven't watched, and yeah, they must be flying off the shelf.
And plus, the high street stores are shut, so places like Argos are shut, and so they can't get it. So they've got to go online.
Yeah.
It's a perfect storm, really. I mean, I'm selling loads of educational stuff. Educational books.
I was going to say just quickly we got some flack from a recent video we did where we were saying we read out the government recommendations and we said we're going to carry on, and people were saying no, you're not a critical essential business. But in that sense, we are providing that service to get the kids' books, to get the DVDs, to get the stuff people need right now to keep them going, to keep entertaining and educating their kids, because the shops are shut. Simple as that.
I think also the risk is so minimal. I mean, you are assuming you're not sourcing, you're at home all the time, and all you kind of have to think about is that maybe once or twice a week that you're going out to get it to the post office. And then if you're going to be using a parcel drop-off box, you're not going to actually be meeting anyone at all. So you can go out for your half-hour daily walk of exercise, avoid everyone, keep them 2 meters away, drop your parcels off. Yeah. You've solved a problem for someone who's at home, who are going, got kids who want things to do, and you've given them something to do because, so, you haven't created any more risk because you're at home all the time anyway. So, yeah,
Ian's selling videos. Wow. Yeah. If you can shift them, fantastic. Zahir says their stuff is just selling. I really need to list the 11 Wii consoles. 11? Definitely. Come on, Zahir. Perfect time.
You know how many I've got.
Have you still got those, Tom?
You built a shed out of them, Tom, didn't you?
Well,
I've got no controllers for them, just the actual consoles.
Well, someone sold one without controllers for 30 quid. So, times.
Yeah. Was it Derek or no?
I
remember.
Yeah, someone sold them.
Was his brother?
I struggled to get a tenner for one without controllers.
Yeah, it's Richard. Yeah, no, it's crazy.
I sold my first book for a while last night to Singapore. So,
what was it? How to survive the virus?
It was a mechanical engineering book for someone doing a degree. I think I got $80 for it plus shipping. Well, the thing is, I didn't even offer Singapore as an option to sell it to. Well, I'll take his money.
Is it do you have GSP in Australia?
No.
So
I think he may have. You can buy from another country, can't you? Even though they don't offer overseas shipping, if you buy on the platform of that country, something like that. I've heard.
We've had a couple of glitches recently on items that I didn't offer international. That they've managed to buy. A big job lot of Mega Bloks Halo Lego. A guy in Italy bought it, and I'm like, I'm not shipping that internationally. So I cancelled the sale. Yeah. I didn't have any international option on, and it still went through. But luckily, a guy in the UK bought it when I relisted it immediately, so it's gone.
I had that, Nick. I had a Lego set that someone in North Italy bought right in the centre where it's all kicking off. And for some reason, I got GSP on, but it had booted it out of GSP for no reason. He was like, "Oh, send us an invoice for the post." It's like, I am not posting it. So I cancelled it and then relisted it, and he bought it again, but this time it went through GSP. So
weird. I actually sold a little bundle of Lego that is going to Italy, and that's my own shipping. But I'm fine with that. I mean, there's no problem with me shipping out there. I wouldn't particularly want to receive something from there right now, but sending it in, surely that's fine. I mean,
yeah.
I think
this was a big
delays. But,
just don't accept the return. Don't want any returns from Italy. Just refund.
Now, there is a point, actually, Mel. Amazon recently announced they're extending their return policy. If you bought it from Valentine's Day, I think it is, you've got until the end of May to return it. So do you lot see that you might get some returns after this has calmed down, maybe? Or
you'd leave them in the shed for a couple of weeks before you even touch them, yeah.
I don't do international posts, so I don't stress as much, but I don't really get that many returns. So I'm hoping that mine doesn't really change very much. But yeah.
Matt there says he's been selling Wii Sports at £20 a pop, so that's more than doubled in price.
I've sold a few of them this week.
George says games consoles have basically doubled in price. It's a great time. Thankfully, I've got 2 PS3s sat on the floor. Yay!
Yeah, I've been sorting out bundles today because I've got so many crappy games. I'm just sorting out some real big bundles to keep the kids quiet bundles.
Yeah. What's that, Pete? That looks like a PS3.
Yeah, I've got to get this one.
Have you, Tom? Have you
or USB one?
Have you managed to gather some video material for your DH of the week? With all this coronavirus, I'm sure there's plenty of material.
Unfortunately, I can't say the actual title because Nick wants to keep it family friendly. But Forehead of the Week is no more. It's cancelled. The last one broke the internet, so unfortunately, that's it for the time being. People can't seem to take a joke anymore. So maybe at some point.
You can't let people without a sense of humour dictate your content. That's crazy, Tom.
I might do an international special potentially, and have certain down under seller on there. I don't know.
There's always
I've not upset you, have I?
No.
There'll always be someone who doesn't find something funny or find something offensive. Honestly, you can't let that dictate your content and who you are and what you do. It's everyone.
No, I'm only joking. No, it will start back up soon.
Yeah, good stuff.
I used to like watching your rants.
Oh God.
Maybe nominate someone, Tom, to if you don't, fancy doing it one week, nominate like Andrew to do it. Go on, you do a dickhead of the week and see how you get on.
I just because it's that after I film stuff, I just get so pissed off. It's just like, I could grumble endlessly, but I don't think it's very good for my mental health to be grumbling too much. And so instead, I just grumble on Facebook and grumble on WhatsApp. And
the best one you did one years ago, and I forget I think you were moaning about going to a car boot and you were haggling with a woman who was selling something, and it was the comments that made me laugh because there was some guy who commented who said, "You're stood in a field haggling over 10p over a game or something," and you went, "Who's the dickhead?"
That's true.
It's so funny. But,
that was the woman that I was haggling, and she was taking stuff out of my hands to try and buy it. I was like, "Oh, I'm buying it here."
But just that comment just made me laugh.
Yeah. In the cold light of day, I think you're the dickhead here, which is fair point.
Fair enough.
Owen asks, "Is something fishy going on? I've got 2 orders from Italy." I think it's just it makes sense because they can't. They're in proper lockdown. It's crazy what's going on down there. So they're just turning to the internet where they can actually get hold of whatever they're after.
I know what he means, though. I was slightly worried because the day, I think it was like last week, and I got 2 orders from Italy, and they both had low feedback. And I was thinking, are these scammers jumping on the fact that they don't have to return it? But it was fine. I mean, I have actually taken Italy off of my postage option now because I just didn't think it was worth the hassle of it. But the ones that have gone through have been fine, so I don't think there's anything different from how it was before, to be honest.
No, and to be honest, right now if they do need, for example, I'm shipping out some Lego to Italy that'll go out on Monday. We're providing that little bit of joy for their kids right now that they can't get any other way. You know what I mean? It is providing a service, so. Yeah, I'm happy to ship out in that sense. I just want to say huge thanks to Matt. You didn't have to do that. It's amazing. There's no message with it though. But thanks, Matt68, for the super chat there.
Did anybody see there's obviously for you 2 Australians it's not similar, but there's a thing from the Royal Mail from the workers or the union about a petition to get them to only be delivering essential items.
I saw something about that, yeah.
Yeah, which is such a minefield.
They were a bit fed up about having to deliver like flyers and free bits of post and junk mail.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they should be delivering that. Definitely
no, they
not.
shouldn't be. Yeah, but I don't think it was like, oh yeah, we're only going to deliver, I don't know, medical supplies and
Yeah.
stuff people, because who can judge what that is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they've said on one hand the Royal Mail is carrying on and it's an essential service and it should carry on. So you can't kind of provide half a service unless the government's going to step in and stipulate what has to carry on and what doesn't. Where do you draw the line? It just gets crazy then, surely.
So messy.
I mean, hopefully the actual volume of mail going around at the moment will be a lot less because businesses aren't running and people are at home. I don't think people really send letters these days, but it'll be the businesses, the business mail that has gone right down. I mean, I was thinking about the poor guys going around doing all the food deliveries. They must be absolutely inundated. But the good thing is at least the roads are clear, so they can whip between like one stop and the next stop. But it's still such a busy time for them.
We struggled to find somebody that would deliver to us. The slot
we can't
for months in some cases. It was mad.
Yeah.
Well, we're on we paid at the start of the year to get all our deliveries free, which puts you on a priority list. And I think it was about 2 weeks ago, we booked up like a month's worth of slots because we could kind of see what was going to happen. And I think we got an extra one for Easter as well, because they do a thing like at Christmas where you can actually book it before anyone else. And I think this is now what they're doing for the over 70s. The over 70s get to see the slots before anyone else. But after our 4 have gone, which I think we've got 3 more, we'll just be, in the same position as everyone else who's sort of there trying to get the slots, and they're all already taken up. But we might do click and collect. Click and collect. I think Asda do click and collect, where you can just order it all and pick it up from like a secure Dropbox there. But it's tough. And I'm shopping for my mum.
They're getting booked up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I went out Friday to pay some bills, and there's a couple of shops in town which sell homegrown, because there's a lot of farming community around here, so they'll put various food sources out for sale, a lot less than the supermarket. And I saw it. I'm just going to sound sad. I saw a tray of cabbages, and my missus says, "If you ever see a cabbage while you're out, buy one." I'm like, go supermarket, but like $9 for a cabbage the other day. One cabbage. So when I found this tray and I scooped up 2 of them and put them in this bag, and I came home and she was like really excited that I got a cabbage. I thought, God, it's like being in Russia, on a bread queue. We're so excited to be eating a cabbage.
It's fragrant in your house at the moment with 2 trays of cabbages, mate.
Apparently, and Andrew just poked her head in and informed me that there were no slots. We've had to do click and collect, so we're having to drive to wherever and pick it up. So yeah, apparently. And I highlighted that because I totally agree, Pleasant Valley Picker. Humour is the best defence in hard times. Yeah, and YouTube's been a great source of that for me recently. Just entertainment and a lot of humour. Yeah.
Some of the memes as well.
Yeah.
George, you want to believe it, mate? That's the next thing. Never mind your toilet paper. Cabbages are the next one.
Use cabbage leaves instead of toilet paper.
Because I've got anxiety, I wouldn't buy cabbage like that from I've got to the point now where if I'm buying any fruit and vegetables, it's all bagged. So I'm only buying the apples that are in the plastic, covered in plastic. I'm only buying bananas, and I'm only buying lettuce that's already pre-packed in a bag, because the less people who are touching it, the less people who are sneezing on it or whatever. So I would not be buying fresh cabbage like that.
People are still putting that food in the bag now.
I understand that, but there's still less people touching it. You don't have the person putting it out on the shelf and unboxing it, and you don't have everybody walking along the aisle and possibly sneezing on it or with their dirty hands. I don't know. For me, it's just I can't. I won't buy any juice.
It's funny. I drop off a couple of bags of shopping when we do our order. Been dropping off a couple of bags at my mum and dad's, and I went round there a couple of days ago to drop off the latest one and pick up the empty bags. And I got the empty bags back, and my mum was kind of like handing them, because we have to social distance from them. And I got them in the car, and they stunk of pine disinfectant. It was just, I think she'd like bathed them in it. So we had to put them out on the washing line just to get rid of the stink of pine. But they're really like, oh, hello, like at a distance, which is good. I mean, I thought my dad would be, going out, going, oh, it's nothing, but he's actually staying in. But they must be driving each other crazy.
You said
I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a channel or something to keep you amused or entertained recently, our friends in America, Steve and Steph, are putting out a lot of content because they're self-isolating, as most people are. So yeah, please check them out if you haven't. Sorry, Tom, what were you saying?
You said you was missing the beer garden. You long for the days of the beer garden. What actual food source is like? When you go to the supermarket and you're at the checkout, you might pick a Mars bar up or something like that. What snacky sort of things that you took for granted are you actually missing now? Are you getting a craving for that? Anything or?
We're finding it hard to keep bread in the house.
Oh God, yeah.
Without it running out, because you used to picking a loaf of bread up every other day or every day or whatever.
It's the fresh stuff. The fresh stuff is.
Margarine, I've had trouble getting as well.
Really?
Oh, I don't eat margarine. Plastic.
I've been buying wraps instead of bread, so there's just a constant pile of wraps here because they don't go stale as quickly as long as they're sealed. And
you can store more of them.
Yeah, I can't keep up with bread here with my 4 kids.
I tell you what surprised me. Last time I was in a supermarket, the alcohol aisle was ravaged. There was one box of wine left, which I like rugby tackled it, and that was it. There was almost nothing in Asda. People had just gone buy all of the booze quick. It was crazy.
Well, I suppose if you're locked in with your kids, then you might need it. I do wonder though that with all this getting locked in with people, whether the divorce rate will go up.
Or the pregnancy rate.
Well, that will definitely go up.
Right.
What's this generation in 9 months' time going to be called? What generation?
Corona kids.
Yeah, Corona kids.
There will, though, won't there? 9 months' time, there'll be a spike in world birth rate.
Yeah.
And divorce rate.
And
it'd be weird stats all round.
But I think for a lot of people, it is like a lot of time to suddenly spend with your partner if you're not used to it. I'm used to it. This is my daily thing,
I'm used to it.
But if you're used to going your separate ways for your working hours and coming home and now you've got 24/7 with the kids on top of that.
Well, it must be strange for I mean, I remember when I started reselling and stopped going to work every day, it was weird being at home and I'd go out for a walk during the day and there were different people around and it was just different. And it probably took me a few months to get used to. And now with this, like you say, I don't really feel that different from the aspects of being in the house. Obviously, it's different because you can't go out. But for people who are working and getting up at 6 o'clock, going to work, coming home at sort of 6 in the evening, and spending very little time, like having their dinner, trying to relax for an hour, and then going to bed and doing it all again, to not do that at all. I mean, Liz was telling me about someone. They probably feel like they can get loads of stuff done in the house, and your concept of time will change. You don't have to go and do everything. Yeah, even if you just sort of do one thing in the day, because you've got a lot of time to fill. They don't rush to do everything. There's no point. Take your time. Enjoy the time. Relax.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what you've got to do. It's.
I think once you get past that 2 week part, I think people potentially will be used to maybe having 2 weeks off, something like that. But after that point, you start forgetting what day of the week it is.
Well, we have to write it down.
You've got the same underpants on 4 days in a row.
On your head.
Only 4?
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
Is that 4?
I'm not saying I do that. I'm just saying that's what
you have them on for 4 days, then you turn them inside out and have them on for another 4 days.
No. You one way, then the other way, then turn them inside out, and then the other way again. You get 4 days out of them. Yeah.
I've got a perfectly good
I used to do as a student.
In all of my live streams, I'm naked from the waist down. Actually, that's how I roll.
You don't want that webcam sort of suddenly dropping down.
Darren's in. Hi, Darren. Hope you're well. He says, going back to the Royal Mail, if they had to distinguish what is essential and what isn't, how would they do it? And shops, online shops, are providing non-essential items, and we're being told to carry on if we can. So the Royal Mail have to provide that service for us. So yeah, it doesn't make sense, to distinguish what's essential. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
All right. If anyone else is in the chat that wants to pop in, just
Is that someone got a dog?
in the link.
I think what I'm seeing a lot of people, on Facebook all of a sudden who are now got their kids at home and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to work from home and I've got kids at home and this is like so hard. How do I work from home and I've got all these kids? But I've been working at home for 20 years and had kids here the whole time. So for me, that doesn't feel any different. But I think for a lot of people, that's like a big shock to the system, learning how to work from home with kids. But, I guess that's an advantage that some of us have already got because we're already used to it.
Well, it's definitely, I mean, I work and have 3 kids around and during the holidays, it is more difficult, but you still get it done. You kind of try and give them a routine. I think a lot of people over here were worried about the school aspect and, do they have to sort of teach them at school? Schools are sending out packs and our school sent a couple of really good messages saying, look, you don't have to worry about it. All you're doing is keeping them ticking over. You don't actually need to teach them anything new. Yeah. We'll pick it all up when you get back. The important thing is to make sure that, you're getting on as a family. That's the most important thing. Forget about, the schoolwork isn't important. So, parents don't want to worry about that too much, to be honest. But there's certainly a lot of distractions with people wandering in and picking up various toys that I'm trying to list. So.
Yeah, we're having to find ways to entertain ourselves and our children and keep the education rolling on as well. I mean, I speak to my sister who's got the twins and little Nina, and it's just chaos in their house. It really is. She's run ragged, you know what I mean? And they've been, because Nina was ill, she hasn't left the house now for nearly a week and a half, 2 weeks. So she's going nuts.
And the thing as well is if you've got kids who are kind of like maybe 10 or under or 11 or under, they're not really going to understand what's going on. They don't understand why they can't go and see their friend and what it all is. And obviously you're trying to protect them as well. I mean, teenagers would understand, I guess, but
but I think they're sort of 5 and 3 and they're almost seeing it as a kind of a fun holiday thing. So then when you're trying to get them to do their reading and their arithmetic, they're like, what? I'm at home with all my toys over there. Why would I want to sit here and do this?
Kids have got it easy. If this had happened 30 years ago, kids would have been in a lot worse state of mind because at least they've got the internet. They can talk to their mates online. They can play online games.
Yeah.
30 years ago, they'd have been, you try keeping a kid in. They just walk right riding the bike. And
I used to get him from school and be out on my BMX at like 4 o'clock.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, speaking about online games, we've managed to set up, it's coming, the big one's coming, the pop quiz. Now, there's going to be a certain chap here, Peter, me, Abe Waldron, who knows his pop stuff, and my good wife, Andrea. And Lainey is she's prepping all the questions, so it can't be said that I've got an advantage or anything.
I'll say that anyway if you win.
Yeah. Fix, yeah. So Lainey spoke to me earlier. She's got all the questions ready, so it's going to be another Name the Year, and I'm going to use my brutal scoring regime of however many years out we get it wrong, we're going to lose points. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know when's going to suit. I think Aid can do it pretty much any time. So
yeah, anytime. I'm a little bit scared, but anytime.
Is this going to be on your quiz channel?
Yeah, that'll be on the Let's Get Quizzical channel. Link for that is below. If you haven't come over and joined in, it's such a laugh. And we're trying to put more content out on there currently for obvious reasons.
There's so many quiz channels that have just taken off at the moment. It's great.
Yeah.
Quizzes and exercise, that seems to be like the thing.
Yeah, I need to try and promote that a bit more right now whilst people are in the mood for that sort of stuff, actually. But it's shot up to 750 plus subs recently.
Nobody wants to watch me putting a pond in, which is my latest video, because I haven't really been doing any reselling this week. It's like me digging a hole. It's like I'm in the garden digging a hole. It's not my grave, it's a pond.
Yeah. So anyway, in the next couple of days we'll get that set up. Yeah, can't wait for that. That'll be fun.
That'll be good.
I won't be taking it seriously. It's just a bit of fun, but
just a bit of fun. I'm not competitive at all.
Like your listing challenges.
Oh, did you see how badly I got beaten by Derek? It was embarrassing.
I was listening to the stream on the way to work, and I was cheering Derek all the way.
You knew it from the start that you had been absolutely whipped, Nick.
I know.
And Derek's so kind of quiet, and he's just laying it on like, oh yes, and there was Wednesday was like another 1,000 with 400 items. It's like, oh, another hit.
Yeah.
How much of it is he sold? How much of it is he actually sold?
Wow, his numbers. He shared, I think, when you were live, didn't he? He did £1,600 in the last week. So I think he's reaping the benefits of that week of listing. It was perfect timing to get all that stuff piled on.
He did have to go down to the auction though, and run the gauntlet of people coughing and being packed in. But
true.
Yeah, I think he's in now.
I did send him the link actually. He said he might try and pop in. Someone's nan is bored of Tom for some reason.
Yeah, I've just read that. Yeah, cheeky sod.
Can you please invite him? Do you know Andy Robinson?
My light.
What a random comment.
Yeah.
You're boring nans now, Tom.
Yeah, well. She's only upset because I normally come round there and sort her out. So. I can't do the self-isolate. Oh, I can't believe I've just gone there.
I think it's time. We did this. I was on someone's live stream the other day. I don't kind of remember where I was, but I ended up doing a bit of dipsticks. So we'll do a few dipsticks just to keep us
I think that was Andrew's channel. You were trying to liven him up.
I was on Andrew's channel, so I've got to find ones that we haven't done.
You did one of those, and it was a Prince song, and I got it right, and but the line was twice in the song. It's just what you get a song, isn't it? And you've got to name the next line.
I give you a line from a song.
Yeah, I was fuming because I'm a huge Prince fan, and the next sort of like 4 questions, I was like, right, I'm going to start really fussed. It's just last season when you were doing it. But,
okay, so what I'll do, and we'll see who shout it out, you four, and first who gets it gets a point. I'm going to give you a line from a song. All you have to do is give me the next line. I'm
going to fail.
It's not You Give Me Fever, is it?
Yeah, I only know 90s dance music, so I'm going to be dreadful.
Or Don't Stand So Close to Me.
That's good. Okay, so if I say, do you believe in life after love?
Sure.
It's the Cher song,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I do believe in life after love. I believe something.
I know it's that weird microphone she's got. I can't understand her.
Yeah, the auto tune, isn't it?
Mm.
Something not good enough. Something not good enough, or
no. It's a tricky one actually. It goes, do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say.
No, I bet she can.
Okay. we all knew the singer.
We know the song, but nobody knows the words to that.
Oh, George Ross got it.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I
He's
can feel
Googled it.
something inside me. Yeah, near enough, George. We'll give George that.
Yeah, because the next one is I really don't think I'm strong enough or something like that,
That's
isn't it?
it, yeah.
Okay, this one, I think, this is a bit easier. When I fall in love, it will be forever.
Nat King Cole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I ever fall in love
again.
Something.
Or I'll never fall in love again.
What did you say, Rod? What was your guess?
Just what Peter said there, but a bit more on the end of the something.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that then, Rod. Or I'll never fall in love is the next line. You didn't need the extra bit. So yeah, When I Fall in Love by Nat King Cole, the wonderful Nat King Cole. What a voice.
What era are these from?
I was going to say, I think I'm way too young.
This is old stock that's been sitting on the...
Everyone knows Nat King Cole. No, come on. This goes right up to present, this does. Oh, tricky one. Okay, right. You got me begging you for mercy.
Oh.
Do you know the
man.
It's
she was big for a while and then vanished.
Yeah. Duffy.
Yeah.
Who the hell was Duffy?
It's kind of like Amy Winehouse type thing. Yeah. Retro.
In a way, yeah. She did a lot of songwriting with guy from Suede, Bernard Butler. He wrote most of that album, the big album.
I'm just... I'm looking at the chat. I've got the... George Ross has got it again.
Oh, yeah, the chat's well on it. Blimey. Yeah, Laney's got it certainly there.
Yeah.
Begging you for mercy. Why won't you release me? That's not the tune, but you know what I mean.
You got any late 80s indie music, Nick? Yes.
Personally, yes.
Or maybe the Beatles or something like that.
On the sticks, you just get what you give them.
You get what you're given.
Nobody's ever getting that in a million years.
Go on.
You want to try this?
Yeah, go on.
I will eat my hat if you get this.
Get the Google out.
Where's all my soul sisters?
Soul sisters.
They're self-isolating.
Chat might get it. That's all I'm giving you.
Is that the one off Moulin Rouge? No.
Ooh.
With the what's the name?
I need to find the hat.
Get your hat out. Big sombrero.
Yeah.
I need one of those countdown clocks.
No, I can't.
Lady Marmalade.
I'm going to say something like Go Sisters.
Lady Marmalade. With Christina Aguilera in
Got to
it.
get that Flow Sisters. Gimbal saying, got to get that Flow Sisters.
Well, Kenneth got the track, which is Lady Marmalade.
Oh, it's All Saints.
I can't think what the words are, but it did.
No, it says on here Christina Aguilera, but it was actually a few of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was like 3 of them.
Lil Kim and Pink and others. Anyway, on the card it says, "Where's all my soul sisters? Let me hear your flow, sisters."
Oh, someone had that.
Yeah.
That might.
Did someone get it in the chat? Who were giving that? Oh, that's Gimbal. That's good enough. Good enough for a point.
Jace got it as well. Jace the Who.
Oh, well done. Yeah, that was tough.
So when
Lady Marmite. Someone put Lady Marmite. You either love her or you hate her.
You love her or you hate her. Yeah, Ali, Pink, Lil Kim, Christina, and is it Maya? Yeah, or Maya.
Oh, I thought didn't All Saints do it years ago? Or am I imagining that?
They did a version. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah, I went to see them with Andrea in the very late 90s, and they were awful live. They were god awful.
I think they were up themselves quite a bit. So.
Yeah, and the support band. It wasn't my thing, wasn't really my gig. It was more Andrea's thing at the time. But the support band were Damage, and they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Oh, okay, right. This is a bit more gettable. Well, you make me wanna shout.
Put your hands up and shout.
Is that it? You make me want to shout. Kick my heels up.
Come on now.
No.
Yeah.
Kick my shoes.
Oh, hey.
No, none of them.
Oh.
Sometimes though, the first line appears several times in the song, like you were saying before. So,
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Put your hands up or something.
oh, that's more like it. Something to do with hands.
Oh, I think someone's got it in the chat. A few
got it.
people are very similar in the chat.
Stick a deck chair up your nose. That is the chicken song.
Oh,
Spit
yeah.
an image.
Spit an image. I used to know all the words to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold a
God.
chicken in the air, stick a deck chair up
Put
your
up your
nose.
Buy a jumbo jet,
And bury all your clothes.
Paint your left knee green,
Green.
or something like that. I used to know all of it.
Yeah, I used to know.
And pretend your name is Keith or something.
And pretend your name is Keith.
Anyway, this line, the artist is Lulu, as I'm sure you know, and it's, well, you make me want to shout, look my hands jumping, look my heart thumping.
How do hands jump?
Look my hands.
Yeah, I never knew that was the words. It doesn't make sense.
It's weird. You can have a song that you've heard for years, and then you suddenly see the lyrics, and you're like, "What?" I remember seeing those in Stone Roses songs and reading these lyrics, going, "What on earth are they going on about?"
Oh yeah,
Don't be dishing the Stone Roses.
Well, yeah, but you look at the lyrics to something like Elephant Stone or something like
Yeah,
that. It's like,
and Fool's Gold.
Yeah.
Fool's Gold. I was singing the wrong words almost completely to that for decades.
Yeah,
And
and your words make sense, and their words are just like, what the hell? I saw Stone Roses at Heaton. Well, I saw them years ago at Ali Pali in 1989, I think, and then I saw the first gig of the reunion, the Heaton Park gig up at Manchester.
Well, in Fool's Gold, one of the lines is the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah.
Something, and I can't
never made no shoes like these.
Yeah, and I used to have a completely different line for all of that. I don't know what it was. It has nothing to do with the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Right, here's a good one. And at first to shout it out gets the point. I shot the sheriff.
But I didn't
shoot the deputy.
Yeah, Pete was first in. Do you get a bonus for the artist?
Bob Marley.
Eric Clapton.
Or Eric Clapton.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say,
We've got Marley on here, so we'll take the Bob Marley. Yep, bonus point there. Ooh, okay.
What it is, Nick, is perhaps your Stone lyrics were true, but somewhere along the line we slipped into an alternative reality, and in fact, it's different now.
Could be.
Well,
sorry,
I'm
self-isolation's getting to me.
He went through a portal in the Tat Cave and just came out in a different universe.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting one.
Mark Keen's asking a good question. What's the first gig you went to?
This stick is surely so wrong. I'll give you the first line, right? Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know the next
After all the love I'm bringing.
Thanks for all the joy there.
Thanks for all. Yeah.
Yeah, both of you are near enough there. But it says the Nolans on this stick.
What?
Right.
ABBA.
That's ABBA.
ABBA.
Maybe they covered it, but still, you credit that to ABBA, not the Nolans, don't you? Blimey. Yeah,
Mark Keen was asking what was the first gig we all went to. Do you remember yours?
Mine was Savage Garden.
I had them in our quiz recently as a picture, name the band, and people found that quite tricky.
I got taken to sort of gigs with my dad and went to sort of Dire Straits and the Hollies gigs and things at the Fairfield Halls in Croydon. But I think the first one I went to on my own when I was about sort of 16, 17 would have been Prince up at Wembley Arena for his Love Sexy 88 tour, which was brilliant. He came on in a car and did Alphabet Street and then played basketball and did all these crazy stuff. That was absolutely amazing.
Did he play the instruments? I just drive a car and play sport.
Well, no, he had he came on in the car, did a baseball, and then he had a bed on stage at one stage and did all his stuff in there. But he was absolutely amazing. It's amazing.
I don't think there's ever been an entertainer who is a virtuoso on many instruments.
Amazing.
And is one of the greatest dancers we've ever seen and can sing the way who's got all three? You know what I mean?
Just songwriting and Yeah, Rod's got it.
Have you got them, Rod? Yeah, you just keep your balance well hidden.
In
That's all.
spades, mate. In spades.
So Mel was Savage Garden. Pete, yours was, what was your first gig? What did you say?
Prince.
Oh, Prince.
Well,
right.
my first one, I without my dad.
Okay. Tom, who was your first gig? You
Well, it's difficult because I was into dance music, so it wasn't technically a gig. It was just club night. So my first actual gig was when I was at uni. I was about 20, and we went to see Fun Loving Criminals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, I bet they were. What about yourself, Rod?
First gig was Iron Maiden, Manchester Apollo.
I knew.
And the second gig I went to was again at the Manchester Apollo in Spiral Carpets.
Oh, they were one of my first gigs. I went to see them, and me and my mates got tickets 1, 2, 3, 4. It was at the University of London Union, which is a really small venue, just after like their first EP, like the Joe EP came out.
Yeah.
So it just sort of like 3 months before they got huge.
I was so into
I've still got,
thing, but I never managed.
Still got.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say I've still got every ticket stub to all the concerts I went to.
So
I went to four Castle Doningtons, Monsters of Rock. Camped out there. That was an interesting experience. Dodging 1 litre bottles of urine being thrown over the mass crowd. Yeah, seen Status Quo 3 times. That was just me. Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit ripped off with Savage Garden compared to Iron Maiden.
And Metallica, Slayer, good times.
Wow. I was going to say about in Spiral Carpets, I was so into that scene, the whole Mondays, Stone Roses and Spirals, all of that. But for some reason, I never managed to see them. But then I went to see Carter in one of their final ever gigs.
They were good. I've seen them.
And so I saw them exactly, was it 30 years after the first time I saw them at Brixton in exactly the same gig. And then I've forgotten his name, the lead singer of the Inspirals.
Clint Boone? No, it was Tom someone originally, and
Clint
was the organist. Clint Boone was the organist in this.
But he came on and he did This Is How It Feels with them. It was just such a moment. So cool.
Tom, I can't remember his surname. I'm sure it's Tom someone.
I remember seeing one of them bands, them indie bands, when I was in Magaluf, when I was about 21. And there was this BCM's, Europe's biggest nightclub.
Still open.
Is it still open? I had some great times there, but they had this foam party, and then there was all like dance music and what have you, and I was just absolutely out of my head on drink. And one of these indie bands came. I can't for life remember who it was, but they were popular at the time. Not popular, I can't even remember.
Tom Hingley.
Yeah. Tom Hingley, yeah. Mate of mine mate of mine was in Collapse Lung, who were kind of like indie kind of rap band, and they did a mix for the Inspiral Carpets, and they have a bit of a joke of that they always get involved with bands who are just about to sort of like end or split up, because they got involved with them right at the end. But he's done some work with the Inspiral Carpets.
Well,
Mel's into country music, aren't you, Mel? You sad person.
I like all music, but my favourite.
It's shocking. If there is one genre of music that needs burying forever, it's country music.
Don't be a music fascist, Rod. If you like it, it's good.
It's all about broken relationships, drinking, and dogs dying.
So, Rod, if you don't like country music, why are you doing the Kenny Rogers tribute beard?
I'm waiting for Dolly Parton to come on.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, let's see if the panel can guess what my first ever gig was.
Depeche Mode.
Yeah. You must have mentioned it at some point.
No bonus point for that one, is there?
What's going on with Tom?
I don't know.
I'm just putting that up for Rod. That's me and BCM about in 2016 at the phone party, so it's still going.
All right, okay.
I can work out what that was. I went to a phone party in Ibiza once. It was hilarious. You just couldn't see anybody. It was that thick. Yeah,
that's me. That's me not there. That's me there drowning.
It's itchy as hell, though, I found.
Yeah.
It tasted horrible, I remember.
You're not meant to eat it.
Couldn't help it. But yeah, my first ever gig was Depeche Mode at Wembley, 1990, and it just blew my socks off. I was so beyond excited. It was just, amazing. Still probably my best gig I've ever seen.
I went to see the Cure after Disintegration, and gigs like that are quite weird because you go to the Cure and you see like loads of Robert Smith clones, or if you go to like a Morrissey gig, see loads of people, and Ian Brown. I've been to Ian Brown gigs, and there's these like 40-year-old guys with the Ian Brown haircut, and it's just like this is weird.
I love Ian's solo stuff. I got all his solo work.
Really good.
In some ways, some of it's up there with the Roses stuff. It really is. He's so underrated.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't do like an album when they got back together, but I think they are so lazy.
Yeah,
I went to see them when they did that secret gig in Pilton. Because a friend of mine's mum did the banking for their production team. So we heard about it. And it was like a Friday. And I remember on the Thursday night, we were down the local pub and we'd heard about they were going to do this secret gig in Pilton because they'd missed Glastonbury, I think, because John Squire had broken his arm in a mountain bike accident. And we were saying, should we go? I've got work. And then another mate said, what are you doing? You've just heard the Stone Roses are doing a secret gig in Pilton, which is near Glastonbury. You've got to go. And it was like, yeah. And we drove there that night and got down there and watched them do their secret gig. And Dodgy supported them. And they were brilliant. Dodgy.
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic.
Fantastic. And Darren's just said, since we're all in lockdown, you can get the same effect by putting too much washing powder in your machine and sitting in the kitchen. So I can picture Darren doing that right now.
Yeah, with glow sticks and a whistle.
Yeah, I'll put some glow sticks in the post for you, Darren. They'll probably get cracked.
Has a band that any of you went to see really surprised you and been way, way better than you could have ever imagined? For me, I'll quickly do mine, was last year. Not that I didn't expect them to be amazing, but the event I didn't expect to be amazing. And we saw Human League in an outdoor gig in a stately home in the garden. So there was a few support acts, but Human League were the main. So there was Belinda Carlisle, ABC, and then Human League were the lead. And it was up there with that Depeche Mode gig. It was just the best night, and I didn't see it coming. It was so amazing. It really was.
I don't know.
Yeah, one band I was. There was a support band Iron Maiden. It was called Wasp.
Oh yeah.
And they used to come on with this. He had this spinning chainsaw cod piece firing sparks out. It was amazing.
hold a spinning chainsaw codpiece. He's got a chainsaw strapped to his.
Sorry, no, it wasn't a chainsaw. It was like a Makita circular saw, which was like strapped to the front of his codpiece, which while he's playing guitar, would spin round at great speed, sparks flying everywhere, and it was just like I was like, oh.
Wow,
yeah. Leanne will know what I'm on about. Death by Glamour. She'll know who I'm talking about. And the other one was a band I actually walked into with a mate, and we turned up at the wrong gig, and it was a band called the Mac Lads. Yeah, they're not going anymore now. They're the only band to be banned from every venue in the UK and every church hall. And I think Prince Charles is still chasing the Prince's Royal Trust money back off him. Yeah, that was an event. It was just a. You had to fight your way to get out of the place. It was. Yeah.
I'm just sharing some of the bands people have seen. Amazing. Another one quickly that was an amazing gig was Jesus Jones in '91.
I was just about to say that because I was going to say the Wonder Stuff because I've seen them quite a few times.
Oh, I can't remember the Wonder Stuff. I've seen them twice. I can't remember any of it.
Well, I saw them originally and then saw them when they came back, and that was sort of in the mid-90s, so it's not like a recent thing. But yeah. Jesus Jones used to support them, and I remember seeing Jesus Jones where they had so few songs that they played Info Frico twice because they, at the start and at the end because they didn't have enough songs.
Nothing wrong with that.
And everyone loved it. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
When I saw Jesus Jones, they were supported by a band called Soho, who only had one hit, which was Hippie Chick. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And they were really good. The whole night was just fantastic. And then we stuck around at the end, and it was at the Town and Country Club, so it was really quite small. And then the band came out, or some of the band. I think the lead singer was a bit up himself, and some of the band came out and signed and chatted with us, and we had a great laugh and shared a beer with the band afterwards. It was amazing.
Have any of you actually had a drink with a pop star? I have.
Oh, Cher. Who was that?
Yeah,
not Cher. I mean,
yeah, she often had a couple of pints of Guinness with me down the Pig and Whistle on a Friday night. Yeah,
oh, sure.
No, it was Roland Gift.
Fine Young Cannibals.
Fine Young Cannibals. Yeah, he was mate of mine had this pub I used to go drinking in my hometown. The landlord knew him, and it was something like midweek. It's not really busy in the pub, and he came down to see him. He was doing a gig somewhere, and I suppose it was one of them. Oh, I'm in the area. I'll come see you. And he just sat at the bar, and me and my mate went, "Is that Roland Gift?" And you have to go and ask, don't you? And it was really approachable. Yeah, he drove me crazy. But I can't say no more. Yeah, no, he was a really nice bloke. Had a couple of pints with him, and never bought any of his records. I couldn't stand them, but he was nice.
We saw him at Rewind, the 80s festival that we go to. We're hoping to go this year, but I don't know if that's going to be cancelled. He didn't have the full band. He just sang some of their hits, and he was really good. He's still in fine voice these days.
Yeah.
When you see old clips of them doing was it Johnny Was Sorry, Why Don't You Come On Home, whatever that song was. The guitarist, and he plays the guitar, and his legs are going all over the place. It's very. Yeah,
but weren't they brothers? I think there was two of them.
There were three in the band, definitely, weren't they?
Yeah, but the two guitarists, bass and lead, looked like they were really. I think they might have been brothers. I'm not sure, but yeah, their legs did crazy stuff. Yeah,
really crazy stuff. But I used to love that era as well. I used to love Joe Boxers and doing the boxer beat. I really love that. I don't know why. You don't like Joe Boxers? Do you remember that?
Yeah, one hit and I
remember them.
Boxer beat.
Oh, yeah, Joe Boxers. Yeah,
it reminded me of a poor man's madness.
Well, I love Madness, yeah. So, and they're a poor man's specials. So
they passed me by, Peter. I don't know how, but I've never even heard of it.
82, that would be.
The boxer beat.
Doing the boxer beat, yeah. That was their one and only hit.
Travesty.
See what you're
missing out on while listening to country music.
Sorry.
I'm I don't know half these people.
Well, don't worry, Mel. I feel a bit out of it as well. I haven't got a clue either.
I did really love seeing Pink in concert, but she was amazing.
Pink? Oh, she does amazing, trapeze acts and stuff, doesn't she? And hangs on ropes.
And she's just amazing. She's such an entertainer.
Yeah, for sure. Victoria says, I've met Danny Bowes from Thunder, and I've had coffee with Sir Bryn Terfel. It's quite a contrast there.
Spinal Tap, isn't it?
Oh, is that Spinal Tap?
Is it?
What?
I don't know.
Is he one of the guys that have Spinal
Tap? Bryn Terfel is a Welsh tenor.
Oh, okay.
I don't care how much he costs. Is he in Spinal Tap?
Pete says, I've had a few drinks with a couple of years ago at Ali Pali with band members from Enter Shikari. Oh, wow. I know he's a huge fan. I bet that was cool. Yeah, good stuff.
I've gone for a piss next to Brandon Block before. I don't know if you remember him. He's the one that was drunk and stormed the stage at the Brits that time.
Did you start talking to him?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't get in conversation. And bizarrely enough, that was at a Boy George gig, a DJ gig, which was weird, but it was really good. It was just so random.
Boy George was massive in the late 90s. He was doing ministry albums and touring as a DJ. It was huge.
Loads of people were dead upset because they were expecting him to pull out some of his classics, and he didn't sing at all. It was bizarre, but it was really good. It was just.
That's what, like when people used to go and see The Damned after Captain Sensible had like hits with Happy Talk and like, yeah, they were grannies taking their grandkids, and The Damned were just like awful gigs, you know, awful in the terms of offensive, you know.
I saw a bizarre documentary about The Damned and how they've kind of tried to roll on over the last couple of decades, and it's bizarre. Their lead singer guy,
Rat Scabies, was the lead singer.
Yes, he's a character. That's all I'll say.
Bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
Absolutely nuts. Yeah, I love all that. I love nothing more than watching documentaries about any band, to be honest. It doesn't matter if it's heavy metal, country, whatever. I'm fascinated with the whole industry around music and stories.
I'm sure there's one on The Clash, and their drummer was absolutely bonkers as well.
Drummers usually are.
Yeah.
There's
something about a drummer.
It's not another pop star, but when I was 23, 3 of us went to the Embassy Club in Manchester, and there was hardly anyone in. We got there very early, and we were stood at the bar for about the best part of an hour talking to Bernard Manning. And I know, like I say, he's not a singer. Well, he can. Well, he could. He's dead now, but that's the only other famous person I've ever met.
I've met Leroy out at the Prodigy. I had shots with him in Ibiza. That was random, but I didn't realise who he was.
Oh. Marie says, Mel, I'll save you. I've seen Tim McGraw 3 times, twice with Faith Dirks Bentley. What? Paisley.
I know what she means. Faith, I know what she means.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, cool.
I love Paisley. I'm jealous of all those names that she just said, but I will say that Carrie Underwood is amazing live. She was the backup singer for Keith Urban when he came here a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Andrea's got some of her albums. Andrea really liked her.
She's amazing. She was. I almost enjoyed Carrie Underwood more than I enjoyed Keith, but Keith is awesome live as well. He's just so amazing on the guitar, and he gives away a guitar at every single concert. And he's just a freak on that guitar. So, yeah.
To look at his face, he looks a bit freaky to me.
Honestly, if you saw him play that guitar, you would have so much respect because he's just a freak. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Sadie, excuse me, the wine's gone down the wrong hole. Mr. Sadie says, I held Tony Stewart's beer while he peed. Is it Tony Stewart a golfer? Who's Tony Stewart?
No idea.
I'm not sure who Tony Stewart is.
I'm not thinking of that one. Who did the one watching the girls go by? But that's not Tony Stewart. That's
no. Are you thinking Tony Christie? Tony Christie?
Tony Christie. Was he a golfer as well?
He's
a race car driver, I think. Tony Stewart.
That's Jackie Stewart.
Jackie Stewart.
Yeah, Jackie Stewart. Google Tony Stewart.
Well, he wasn't even Spandau Ballet.
Tony Hadley.
He's a race driver. He's an American race driver.
Mr. Sadie, you'll have to let us know because
NASCAR race driver, which is why we've never heard of him.
Oh, right. He's NASCAR. Okay. I've now our American viewers.
He was in Crossroads. That's true, actually. Tony Stewart. Didn't he do the music for Crossroads or something, or wrote it, or was that Tony
Hatch?
Oh, Tony Hatch. That's right.
Now, just quickly on NASCAR, I don't want to offend any of our American viewers if you're fans, but as a motorsport, is that not really dull? They just go round an oval. I'm used to Formula One where, you know...
I'll say it, mate. It's boring as hell.
All I have to do... I know it's fast and there's a high risk, but put some chicanes in there, surely.
It's just round and round and round.
Yeah.
Like watching golf.
We went to Daytona Beach when we were last in America, the home of all of that stuff. But yeah, we just went in the arcades.
Oh, hang on. That Tony Stewart. I've got a jacket, a NASCAR jacket for sale. And is he something to do with Haas Automation? Because the name Tony Stewart is on that jacket.
There you go, Rod. Put the price up.
I've had it on for about 2 years.
So, sort of saying about gigs, what's everyone's? I know it's going to be a hard one, but not favorite, but most memorable sort of gig or music event or something like that. That's a really tough one.
Well, mine still is the Depeche Mode first gig I went to. It just blew my mind. But apart from that, I went to see First Aid Kit live a couple of years ago, and they were such amazing musicians and singers. It was, yeah, just stunning, absolutely stunning.
I went to see a band called the New Fads
Yes.
down in. I was at university in Brighton, and they played at the Zap, which was used to do rave nights actually. Like they did a night called Tonka on first Monday of every month.
Weren't they the new Fast Automatic Daffodils?
Yeah, the new Fast Automatic Daffodils, and they did a gig, and we went in there in this club we knew. We used to go to sort of like rave nights there, and they just had this little stage made out of like crates, wooden crates. So we were, I think I ended up dancing on the speaker, and we were just like on the stage all the time. It was brilliant, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think mine would be for the wrong reasons. Use Your Illusion tour, Guns N' Roses. They were doing a gig at Main Road, and we all got there. And then I think one of them was drunk or something and couldn't go on, so they cancelled the gig and they rearranged the gig for another time. But they put it on at a weird time, and a lot of people didn't go because they had to go work or something. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I went in the end, but yeah, I'll never forgive Guns N' Roses for making me, get two trips there.
I've had that. I went to go and see
waiting.
Arthur Lee when he was touring. I don't know, 1990. So he was in a band called Love in the 60s, and he started doing he had a huge gap out of music, and then started touring again. And I went up to London to see him with my brother, and the gig was cancelled, and it was like, and I never got to see him after that. So that was a bit gutting.
I've seen, talking about good and bad experiences, I've been to a few open air gigs at Nebworth because it's literally down the road from us. I used to live in a village 5 minutes up the road from Nebworth. I used to hang out there as a kid in the skate park in Nebworth Park. It's like my home turf, really. I saw Genesis there in 92, which was good. I saw Red Hot Chili Peppers there about 10 years ago, and they were awful, absolutely awful. The best memory there, probably won't surprise you, was Oasis. I saw them on the Sunday when they did the back-to-back gigs there, and it was such an amazing event. I mean, forget concert, it was such an event. It was just amazing. The roster they had over that weekend of bands was second to none. Yeah. So mixed gigs at Nebworth over the years.
I think for me, it's hard to say, but I think recently I went to go and see The Prodigy, and it was on their Ants tour. It was like it was just before Keith died. It was like 2 weeks before Keith died, and it was at Ali Pali, and it just blew my mind. I mean, my mate managed to get tickets, and he just texted me, "Oh, do you fancy going?" I was like, "Yeah, I like the stuff," but it was just, blew me away completely.
Yeah, I'm really sad I never got to see them. Yeah. Ryan said
one band that I like to have seen would have been Queen. Before he died. But
yeah, well, they're touring with what's his name now?
Adam Lambert.
Yes, Adam Lambert.
Okay.
Not the same, though, is it?
No, it will never be.
He's good. He's good, but
I agree.
I prefer that Mark Martell. At least he looks like him as well. You feel like you're getting the full package.
Well, they toured for a while with the guy from Free as well, didn't they?
Oh yeah, Paul Rogers.
Yes. So they've had a few frontmen since Freddie, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Genesis. It has to be said, Nick.
I quite like Genesis. Yeah.
I like a bit of Phil Collins.
No, I remember hiring a film, VHS, years ago when I was about 24, and it was called Buster. And I was on the sick, and I thought, I'll go to the corner shop, and corner shops used to hire videos out, didn't they? And I thought, I'll get this one Buster. It was about a great train robbery or something or other. And I thought,
Julie Walters was in there, wasn't she?
I'm not sure, but I know Phil Collins was because I ended up stopping the tape. I can't stand the guy, and it ruined my film.
I love Phil Collins.
I've got the soundtrack on CD that I'm trying to sell at the moment, Rod. So if you want me to send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
We could watch you destroy it live on air.
Yeah. It's not bloody selling, I'll tell you that for nothing.
Right. So in your record collection, or perhaps just a song that is a song that you like, what's your guilty pleasures?
What I can name some albums I've got that I don't really want to.
You've started now. You've got to finish.
I need to look at my playlist almost.
Does it have to be from a specific genre? Are you in, Andrew? Are you in the chat? Genre?
Is there anything sneaking around in your collection you're embarrassed about?
There's plenty of things.
I've got three things I can think of. I went through a period of buying a lot of rap records, so got a lot of Public Enemy, LL Cool J, good sort of rap music, and like Houdini and stuff like that. And I bought a Fat Boys album because they had the twist with Chubby Checker, and it's like awful. I think I played half of it once and it went in the cupboard and just got hidden. And I also bought the Mel and Kim album when that came out. I don't quite know what happened. And
you still rock around with your Christmas tree to the tunes of Mel and Kim?
No, not that Mel and Kim. Yeah.
Oh right.
And then the Terence Trent D'Arby album, I bought that, which sometimes I think I can get away with that.
Which one? The first one?
The first one, which
I think that's a work of genius.
It's
I'll stand up for that all day long.
Yeah, like I say, sometimes I think it's okay. I think it's because he turned out being such an idiot. Like he was nude on the cover of Q magazine. But
totally
the
weird.
music, actually, I did. The other two, I probably listened to barely at all and put them in the cupboard. The Terence Trent D'Arby, and I actually did get a CD single of his as well, which had Soul Sister as a B-side, which was brilliant.
The first album, Sign Your Name, is a pop classic in my book. Yeah, but then he went really quite weird.
He did go
strange. Changed his name, and he's gone very strange and reclusive.
But there's also Kevin Rowland went completely crazy. But I always think like Kevin Rowland and Dex is absolute genius. I could listen to any Kevin Rowland album.
But you remember the album he released on Creation, his solo album, where he
cross-dressing,
on the cover. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was a really weird move to make at that point in his career.
Yeah, I think he was having a bit of a breakdown at the time. I've read in interviews.
Apparently.
But,
can someone actually tell me what Dex's Midnight Runners actually say in Come On Eileen? Because it's just utter garbage nonsense.
Well, they do this quite a lot.
Well, I can understand that a bit, but I just can't understand. He may as well be talking Welsh.
Poor old Johnny Ray sounded sad upon the radio as they something.
I get it to that point, and then the rest of it's just noise. It's just noise. And they still play it on the radio.
Now, and the girl in the video of that, the kind of Kevin Rowland's love interest, was one of the girls out of Bananarama's sister. So that's a bit of knowledge from that video.
Wow, that's deep
There we
pop
go.
knowledge, Pete.
Deep pop.
Yeah, high
Yeah,
five.
from 1982, though. From 1982.
There was definitely.
Saying about stuff that tracks that annoy you. What is a track that you hear often that annoys you? For me, track that's forever. It makes me so angry. I have to break things. Is honestly, it triggers me beyond reason. Is the Proclaimers "Walk 500 Miles"? My student nights absolutely ruined that for me. Every single student.
I can tell you mine, because I remember when I was in Melbourne, I was in this youth hostel place, and I used to try and get to sleep, and they had that bloody How Bizarre going on. So this is like about 1995.
How bizarre.
How bizarre. And you'd hear the start of it, that How Bizarre, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, shut that F up.
That record was on heavy rotation on Radio 1 when I worked in the Dixon's warehouse picking. I used to do like really long, crazy long, like 12-hour shifts in there. And they was on such heavy rotation. If I hear that, I'm in a warehouse picking stereos because that's all I heard for weeks, that stupid song.
One that used to really irritate me was that La Bamba.
Oh, yeah, Los Lobos, 1987. I remember it clearly. Wow.
I had an argument with a neighbour when I was in the UK. I was on a night shift, and this idiot would play this song repeatedly all day. And yeah, it almost came to blows with this guy. I was ready for going in there and just knocking his lights out. It was just constant.
I've got to quickly say before I forget, going back to the guilty pleasures thing, and I remember saying that I quite like this guy's music a while back, and the comments I got on that video. But it's James Blunt. I admitted to owning a few of his albums, and I got ripped to bits.
I like
good reason.
Really that bad?
No.
Although, in fairness to him, during he put a good post up. I don't know if people saw it on. I think it was on Twitter because everyone's like doing these like live things from at home. Like artists are doing live concerts at home and streaming them, and he's like, "I'm going to do everyone a favor and not go live." I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah, there's another one in the chat that used to annoy the hell out of me. The crazy frog thing.
Oh my god!
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, okay.
Anything around that ilk, just yeah.
Well, it's stuff that's overplayed. It's like Gangnam Style got to me after a while. Jeez, really? Yeah.
That shark. What was it? A shark? Something about a shark.
Baby shark.
But what's your favourite song then? What's your favourite all-time song?
Oh, that's impossible. It's so impossible. Oh.
Mine would be Child in Time, Deep Purple.
Wow, nice one. Mine might be, and it changes a lot, but I swing towards Street Spirit by Radiohead.
Don't know it.
I love the Kid A album, Radiohead. Loads of people slated that. Absolutely love that album.
It's amazing. It's a work of genius.
Yeah. Favourite song is so difficult.
It is.
Probably that joke isn't funny anymore by the Smiths. I think that's absolute genius.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a genius song.
I didn't even know half of these favourites.
Ian just sent me a super chat there. And in answer to that, Ian, I had all Shaking Stevens records. There you go. I admit
has a huge following. I mean, if you're a Shaky fan, you are loyal.
Yeah, but you can't buy any of his stuff on eBay. He's put a ban on it.
No. He took down a badge of ours. What, him? His people. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in disagreement with his ex-management company, and he doesn't want them earning any money out of it, apparently. So why they would get money off eBay for selling, I don't know.
They wouldn't. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ian, so much. Ian, the Tat Doctor, big supporter of a lot of us YouTubers. Good to see you. Has said, Nick, my first single was Shaky Green Door. It's funny, I have such a, when a song takes you back to a weird moment in time. That song, I'm about, what would I have been, 8 years old maybe, walking to primary school with my sister singing that song.
No, come on.
What?
8?
Yeah, I reckon. I was born in 73. When did that come out? Maybe I was 5 then. I don't know.
5?
No, that was early 80s, surely.
God, I feel ancient now.
I'd say 83. Yeah,
Maybe I was 10.
I don't even remember it.
You don't know
I
that
have
one?
no clue what you're on about.
Shaky Green Door.
Shakin' Stevens. Do you know Shakin' Stevens?
1981.
81.
No. Oh man, you've missed out.
I don't know.
I was -3, so
God, I was 14.
Maybe
Well,
Shakin' Stevens never made it to Australia.
Thank God.
He's basically, now, I think this is fair, he's an Elvis impersonator. Right?
fair point.
Well, that's how it got his break, wasn't it? He was the star of an Elvis. Was it a London show? He was
Yes.
the star,
That's
wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. As Elvis
Welsh.
stage show.
I didn't realise that. I always thought his
Yeah.
act was obviously the leg moves and his whole look
No,
was just
that's how
Elvis.
it came about.
He's going to take down your live stream now, you know.
Well, good luck to him.
Oh.
Yeah, there's quite a few artists that are doing that online now. I mean, I need to do a video about it, but I had copyright claims on Amazon over selling a used CD from the artist.
Which
Wow.
artist was it?
It was Michelle Schott,
Who's she?
and she's an American, I think, country artist, indie sort of artist.
Yeah, sort of indie folk. Yeah.
She's basically threatened everybody who sold her music on Amazon with legal action. Yeah, I nearly lost the whole Amazon business over it. It was diabolical. Just selling a used CD.
Wow.
It's crazy. Mm,
I remember talking to you at the time.
yeah,
They can't stop you from selling a used item.
yeah, because she was claiming it was counterfeit. That was the way around. She got it that she claimed that it was a counterfeit item, and Amazon were like, well, we need to see your invoice from a wholesaler. Number one, getting a wholesale invoice for used goods, yeah, good luck. Even if you got one, good luck finding it. And two, it's just, yeah, I got it from a charity shop years ago, and it was a genuine one.
We have goth rock royalty in.
Robert Smith's in.
Yeah, he is the man himself. Maybe not looking at that. Looking at the picture. Yeah, James Blunt has a good Twitter game. He really does. Not that I follow him on Twitter, but I've heard he's very funny on there.
You look at Robert Smith now, though. He looks more like Suzanne Boyle.
Yeah. Did you watch the
Is he a psychiatric nurse?
I think he used to be. He came from Crawley. They came from Crawley originally, which is sort of down the road from me. I saw they did a live stream probably a few months ago from Sydney Opera House, and they were playing the whole of the Disintegration album, which is absolutely my favourite Cure album.
Same.
And I just started work at 9 o'clock, and a live stream of the Cure from Sydney. It's absolutely fantastic. The whole album.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They
I do
are.
love the Cure, even though he does look like Suzanne Boyle these days.
Great thing about the Cure as well, and they're worth going down the rabbit hole of their videos on YouTube, because they just got drunk and had a laugh.
Yeah.
In their videos. It's just hilarious.
I liked the Cure. I just couldn't get into the Cure. I had friends at school that loved the Cure when I was in about year 10, but I just did not like them.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, but yeah, I think the guy's a genius.
I just every time you mention the Cure, I just have visions of him being eaten by a giant spider.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
On that, I can't even remember the song.
Lullaby. That was that video.
Yeah, amazing video.
Yeah, I think with some things like that, you either get it, or you other thing is musical genius, where you're just like, what?
Absolutely, and that's why you just have to accept some people love music for whatever reasons, and that's fine. There's people that are passionate about music I cannot even stand to listen to, and that's fine. We're all different, and we love it.
It's like people who drink Bloody Marys. I don't understand how they can be human beings. It's just disgusting, but some people love them. So
Hi, Kim. See you, Kim. Yeah. There was a house in New Orleans they called The Rising Sun. Great tune. That's the Animals, isn't it, I believe?
Yeah, that's the Animals. That's the first thing I learned to play on the guitar. I think everybody learns that one.
It's all open chords, that, isn't it?
Yeah, A minor, C, D, and F, I think.
So what do you play on the guitar, Peter? What type of stuff?
Not an awful lot. No, I actually picked it up today for the first time in ages because one of my boys was sort of go to the same place. But I haven't practiced for years. So.
What guitar have you got?
I've got a Fender Stratocaster, and I've got another an old Encore one that I bought when I first guitar. But the Fender Stratocaster never comes out.
I always wanted a Sunburst Les Paul.
Yeah.
I ended up with a bass because I wasn't fast enough on the guitar for this band I was in.
Yeah.
Because it was like
I just wish I could play
thrash.
Just a few things well. That would be good. But you got
we used to cover Slayer and what have you. It was a thrash metal band, so I switched to bass. But I had a 1972 again Sunburst precision bass with two British Ohm cabs. They pumped out some noise.
Well, I did 3 gigs when I was about 18, and we used to cover like wedding present songs because they were like the simplest songs you could get.
I love that band.
It is good.
If I ever had to compile a top 10 or maybe top 20 list, Dalliance by the Wedding Present.
Yes.
Oh my God! Nobody will know what I'm talking about it. But
that whole album with Dalliance on is fantastic. But Bizarro, the album before, in fact, all their albums, George Best, Bizarro, and then the third album, which I can't remember the name of, but the third album is fantastic.
Yeah, it's travesty, but I don't own one of their albums. I just obsess about that track. It's weird. Yeah.
But they did a cover of "Come Up and See Me" by Cockney Rebel. And that is a brilliant. I think it's Steve Harley's favourite version because there's so many cover versions of "Come Up and See Me, Make Me Smile," but apparently his favourite version is the Wedding Present version, which is just—it's all like
he from the way he performs. He's the most unlikely kind of pop rock guy, but he's just amazing.
And he always—I don't know if he still does it, but he always used to perform in football shorts. That was his thing.
Really?
Yeah, every gig, football shorts.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. People watching, check out The Wedding Present. Just search him on YouTube. You'll either love it or hate it, and that's fine. Either way is fine. Well, I think soon I'm going to have to wrap this up because my wife is sitting on the sofa with wine on her own. I need to go and join her.
I'm just reading Victoria Plum's comment there. I bet she's quite relieved, actually. That never happened.
Jim will fix it.
Now then, young lady.
Now then.
I applied to go on Jim will fix it. Thank God I didn't.
Yeah, no, I did as well.
Did you apply to Jim will fix it to go and do a painting with Rolf Harris?
Funnily enough, you should say that about Rolf Harris. My father-in-law's got a signed Rolf Harris book, and he said to me the other day, "Do you reckon you'll be able to sell this?" I'm like, "No, definitely not."
Well, chance of selling a bacon sandwich in Israel.
Yeah.
How have we come around to this? End the stream on a positive note? No. We've gotten to Rolf Harris. Oh.
No.
Anyway.
When you think about the songs,
You little boys.
you actually like, whoa, we'll leave it there. Let you think about the songs.
I used to really like Rolf Harris. Out of everyone who kind of that happened to, like Rolf, I was gutted. I used to watch his cartoon time.
Yeah.
It's like, not Rolf, no.
Yeah.
Not today. Anyway.
Well, thank you everyone who's still with us. Somehow, we've still got 187 people watching.
Wow.
Right? What's going on here?
There's nowhere else to go.
People are desperate. People are really desperate.
Yeah, well, I needed, as I said, I needed a social fix. So thank you all so much for chatting with me. I do appreciate it. I think we all need to be social if we can at this time, and keep us all going. And thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks for the super chats. That was incredibly generous of you. I do appreciate that. It's very unnecessary, but it is appreciated. And soon, in the next few days, there will be just a game, not a competition really, but we're doing a pop quiz apparently.
Just
myself and Peter and Aid and my good wife will be competing over on the Let's Get Quizzical channel. So if you're not already subbed, please go over there and give us some support on that. That would be appreciated. And yeah, we'll catch you all soon.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks for having us.
I promise.
It's been a
Don't forget the clock
any more live streams today.
No more live. We've been on for
No more live streams.
about 4 hours straight, isn't it, for you now?
That's it for a week.
All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Awkward.